Here are 5 of my favorite lighting recipes when it comes to engagement portraits. Let's get into it. What's up, friends? My name is Pi. Welcome to another MagMod tutorial. We've got 5 lighting recipes, so I want to get straight into this with number 1. We're starting with the one. So it's a dramatic one light setup, and I'm going to be referencing the names of these from our free lighting guide. So we have a lighting guide that we've created with MagMod. It's completely free to download. It's going to have all the different lighting setups. It's an invaluable guide, and there's no reason not to have it. So download it from the description of the video. Meantime, let's get right into the first shot. I got to introduce our models. These aren't 2 random strangers just standing here ready to go. This is Dimitri, this is Danielle. We'll link them up so you guys can give them a follow if you'd like. And the first shot I'm thinking, well, let's just start kind of compositionally with what I'm looking at. I love these palm trees. And as always, you guys know that I follow kind of the camp framework, which means composition first, right? So composition wise, I don't want to shoot this kind of standing straight up like this, right? If I'm standing straight up like this and I go ahead and just dial in at basic settings, this is what I'm getting. Okay, that's not really what I want to go for. I don't want to show all the street and everything. What I love about this is the palm trees above us. So I'm going to have Danielle and Dimitri kind of hug into each other, and you guys are going to scoot a little bit this way. Perfect, right there. So I'm looking to kind of frame them right in between these palm trees where everything meets up, okay? Now, obviously, this is a very bright image right now, so what I'm going to do first is dial in the ambient exposure. So I really want this to be dark, and we're going to go to, like, say, F14, so I can just really darken up the image quite a bit. And then look at each other again, guys. And this is the vibe that I want to go for. Okay, I'm going to place them right about there. Perfect. So very dark. We're kind of just showcasing the palm trees, everything around them. I might adjust that in just a moment, but that's the basic gist of it. It's a dramatic image where we're using flash to light them up. So the one light, dramatic, high power. So we're going to use a B10. This is a ProPhoto B10 Plus. It actually has 500 watt-seconds of power. You guys can use any light that you'd like, but I'd recommend more power for a shot like this. It's gonna make your life a lot easier. What I'm also gonna do is place it about, can you guys hold the pose that you're in? I'm gonna place this about here, which should be about right. And we're gonna go ahead and add to it. So I'm gonna start with just the mag reflector. We're gonna use the Reflector XL for this. And I might also add the sphere. Sphere's not going to change light quality a ton because of the distance from my subject right now, but it will kind of diffuse the light a little bit. It'll reduce some of the specularity of that light. So we'll start with just this. Look at that low angle and pull the faces in a little closer to each other. There it is, right there, guys. I love that. Okay, that looks fantastic. That was actually a full power. So we used 500 watt-seconds of light just thrown right at them. I'm gonna go ahead and just add the sphere so we get a little bit more of a diffused light on this one, and we'll take the same shot again. If I need to adjust to get a little bit brighter, I'll do that because we're gonna lose a little bit of light when it's coming through that sphere. Okay, guys, go back into that same pose. I'm gonna assume the awkward photographer angle. Let's get it gauge. Yeah, so we lost quite a bit of light power, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go to like maybe F11. I love both those, but when you put them side by side, we can see how the Sphere XL is really diffusing the light. It's preventing a lot of those highlights from coming directly back into the camera, creating a much more pleasing light. So look, if you can get away with it, meaning you don't need all that power, I love the look with the Sphere XL on. Let's go to our next setup. Lighting recipe number 2, the explosion. At least that's what we called it in the lighting guide. So check this out. I know this scene doesn't look like much. Well, these two look fantastic, but the scene itself is kind of like a little bit drab, right? What I like about it though is that we have this kind of constant pattern on the wall. And when we have something like that, we can actually just light the wall behind the couple to create a silhouette effect. And before I show you with the light, let me show you what it looks like just without the light so you can get an idea. So this is basically the gist of what we're going for. Although that kind of looks, you know, they look great again, but my shot kind of looks craptastic because I haven't really done anything with it. Let's grab the light. Let's bring it directly behind our subjects. I'm using only on top of it, just the Reflector XL. And I'm gonna place this just behind Dimitri. It's roughly around like their hip height, maybe a little bit higher, like stomach height. And I'm gonna tilt it so it's kind of angled up, and you'll notice that it's firing right against the wall. I'm gonna leave it at full power because I need a lot of light. So from there, I'm gonna have them do a pose that would match, kind of have a silhouette-y vibe. So we want them to kind of be facing each other, not like looking into the camera, that type of stuff. Okay, now from right here, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in. We're gonna crop right there, and boom. I dig that look. In fact, stay right there, guys. I'm gonna do one more. One of the things I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna wait for the sun to kind of poke back out, because as the sun comes out, it's gonna create this pattern on the wall, like on top of what we're creating right now. I love the way that looks. I love the added dimension of having that second light pattern on the wall, just the sun coming through the trees. I think that looks super cool. We have this beautiful highlight on them. This is a modification on the stadium lighting recipe from the lighting guide. I call this one the Hollywood 2 light. It's pretty similar. We have 2 flashes placed in the background. Because this is a little more of a complicated setup, I'm just gonna walk you through it as opposed to make you watch everything. But basically my composition is this. I'm gonna have my subjects kind of go back to back. In the center, we have this cool sphere fountain thing, and it just looks rad. So what we're probably gonna do is have them hold hands and then look kind of down towards their respective sides. There's a few different things like pose variations we could do on this. They could face the camera looking down in different directions. But what we want is basically he's gonna look down to this side, she's gonna look down to this side, and then we're gonna light their faces. Now from where I'm standing, my lights are at the 10 and 2 o'clock position. So I want you guys to take a little notice of this. This light, we have a B10 right here with the reflector on, and it's going straight towards Dimitri right here, okay? And where he's basically gonna look kind of down into this left side a little bit, I get like a little bit of a Rembrandt light pattern on him. So it's a bit behind where he's standing. Same thing on Danielle's side. We have that light placed right here. I'm using the B10 plus on this side because the sun's on that side. So that side's naturally gonna be a little bit brighter. So I'm using the B10 plus on this side so I have an extra stop of light just to get her a little bit brighter. I'm gonna aim this right towards her as well. We're gonna take a little test shot. So this is at 1/200 f11 and ISO 50. And I love everything about it except for the reflections that are coming off the sphere itself. So what I'm gonna do is actually put on grids. So I have 2 of the grid XLs. These are the 40-degree grids, and this should close off that light angle so we're not gonna get those reflections coming back. I'm gonna lose a bit of power in doing that, so I might bring it up to ISO 100. Oh, I dig that. I'm gonna shoot it with the lights in the frame so you guys can get an idea. That's so cool. And now I'm gonna zoom in a little bit to the actual crop. I love that. That's such a fun image. And just things that you can play around with. You can also throw gels onto them, color them different on each side. That would be fantastic. Just remember, if we're doing this midday like we are right now, putting gels onto it is gonna be probably not enough light because it's super bright outside. So this is awesome. Let's go on to the next one. In this scene, we're gonna use a grid to pin light. So first, I'm gonna set up the light and show you guys why we want the grid and what the pin lighting effect is gonna do, okay? So basically, I like this scene right here. I have Dimitri and Danielle standing in this scene and I kinda wanna shoot it from far. I'll use this technique all the time at wedding receptions, everything, to be able to bring light to a subject without lighting up anything around them. So what I'm gonna do is place the light about right here, okay? We're gonna make it just a little bit higher than my subject, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring the base up. Okay, I'm gonna place this here for right now. I'm gonna grab a bag to secure this. So this looks good. So my thought is I'm gonna have Danielle kind of leading Dimitri, sort of walking this way, and I'm gonna shoot from that side. And I'm gonna show you first what it looks like without the grid, because we're gonna see the light basically spilling everywhere. So over here, I have a 7200 on this time. Let's get our ambient exposure first, kind of the way we want it. And I want this to be a bit on the darker side. So I kind of want my ambient exposure a little bit down here where you see like it's a little bit sort of rustic and kind of moody, that sort of darker vibe to it, right? So that's 1/800th, f2.8 and ISO 100. And I'm sure we're gonna be at way too much flash power right now. Okay, so my thought for this image is kind of using this tree to sort of frame and all this, and I like it. But what you'll notice is that we get this huge distracting reflection against the wall. So this is where the pin light technique is very helpful, because if you're in a reception room, that light is gonna flash and spill everywhere. It's gonna kill all of your ambient light. In this scene, it kills all the nice mood and that light that we wanna have from just the natural environment. So we're gonna grab the XL grid. This is a 40-degree, and I'm just gonna pop it on now onto the reflector, and we're gonna do that exact same shot again. Perfect. I love that. Now look at that reflection on the wall is eliminated. That looks absolutely fantastic. That's it for the pin light. All it takes is a flash, your grid, and you get to control the light exactly where you want it to go, which is really powerful. Let's go on to the next one. Last one is the Rainmaker. This is pretty simple. It's just a warm backlight that you're gonna place directly behind your subjects. We're gonna do it right here. So look, I've got Dimitri, I've got Danielle placed right here. What you wanna look for this is kind of a solid backdrop that can be made dark. Either it's already dark or it can be made dark with your exposure. but we need that, otherwise the backlight's gonna get lost. So right here, I have my ProPhoto B10. I'm gonna go ahead and just lower this guy down a little bit more. We're gonna place it right around their hip height, and I'm kind of angling it sort of up and towards their faces with the sphere as well as the zoom on, okay? So this is gonna soften it up, it's gonna make it bloom a bit, and we're gonna light them up. I'm gonna have them go into like a closed pose where they're kind of tight against each other, closing the eyes and everything. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like just kind of up close first, and then I'm gonna pull back to get the actual shot that I wanna go for. We're gonna do a little test shot, and look at how beautiful that looks already. I love the way that that looks. Now, this isn't my final composition, but I just want you to see like what this looks like against a darker background like this, because now I'm gonna get into my final composition. Beautiful. Now, I'm at f5.6, 1/200 of a second for my shutter speed and ISO 100. The reason I'm at f5.6 is because I want some detail in these foreground elements. Oh, I love that. And I'm just kind of using all this foliage in front and in the foreground just to kind of frame them, getting a few different shots. I love that. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Remember 3 things. So number 1, all the gear that we use in this video, we're gonna link out in the description of the video. Number 2, the recipe guide that has all the lighting recipes here and more, completely free to download. We're also gonna link that up as well. Make sure you grab it. It's an awesome resource. And last but not least, remember to subscribe to the channel. We have tons of amazing content coming here on the MagMod channel. That's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.